we need all the officers to have all the tools available to them to keep us safe. And that includes asking the question when you're being detained for a crime or being arrested for some kind of offense, are you here legally? Are you a citizen?
Hispanic activist Pedro Rivera speaking with KRIV-TV, the Fox affiliate in Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, on the importance of allowing police to ask detainees their legal status.
Yeah, Hispanic activists in Texas are supporting a state Senate bill that would prohibit local governments from passing policies that would interfere with officers of the law enforcing federal immigration laws. That
bill was first introduced by State Senator Charles Perry, and it would allow police officers to ask the immigration status of someone detained or arrested. So, how are Hispanics in Texas fighting this stereotype that if you have a Hispanic last name, you instantly want open borders and amnesty? Let's talk to someone else who is pushing for that tough new law in Texas. And we welcome in Maria Espinoza, director of the Remembrance Project, Skyping in today from the Lone Star State. It is great to have you with us. So tell us why you support this bill.
Well, it's simple. It is regarding laws. It has to do with upholding current laws, and our officers have a duty to uphold local, state, and federal laws. And this is what our tax dollars pay for our safety as best they can. And SB 185 would allow them and unhandcuff our officers in order so they can do their jobs.
Maria, we have to ask you, as JD mentioned, there's a common misconception out there that all Hispanics in America favor President Obama's plans for amnesty. Why are you against it, and what exactly are you doing to fight that?
Well, we started a new initiative because of this problem. For some time, my friends and I, and Hispanic, Latinos, have talked about why is it that a few Hispanics get the microphone, and why are these public servants who are Hispanic going the opposite direction and not protecting American families, not protecting our country ultimately. So, after talking about it for some time, we finally decided to go ahead and do something and speak out and let our voices be heard and not let a few of them, of other Latinos, give us a bad name. So we feel like it's incumbent upon ourselves as Latinos to go ahead and get into the ring and, stop that race card. And unfortunately, we don't think of ourselves as Latinos first. We think of ourselves as Americans first. We are all Americans, and this divisiveness is not working for us. It's killing our family members. As you can see behind me, Javier Vega was gunned down by 2 illegal aliens right here in South Texas. This young man would still be with his wife and his children, his mother and father, if current laws were only upheld. And that is all we are asking for, is for current laws to be upheld. And if it means getting into the ring and for a temporary time separating ourselves as Latinos, then we're going to do that, because we don't want them speaking for us.
Maria, mindful of that, to the proposed bill in the state Senate, let's just talk more about the situation when local police forces fail to ask about the immigration status of detainees. How does that put people at risk?
Oh, it's very at risk. First of all, when they stop someone for cause, anyone, they are asked for their ID, their driver's license, their registration, their insurance. When they cannot provide that, the officers should be able to, and this is where the sanctuary city policies interfere with their work. They cannot ask them, the driver, if they are here in the country legally, because if he is not or she is not, they can then follow the process of reporting to ICE. And right now that's not taking place. And even in misdemeanors where illegal aliens are the perpetrator, they're not prosecuted. So
Maria,
there are two. Yes.
No, I'm sorry. We only have a few seconds remaining. I want to make sure that we talk real quickly about the Remembrance Project. If someone's interested in helping you with your efforts, what can he or she do?
Yes, please go to the remembranceproject.org. That's the remembranceproject.org. And we are reaching out to Latinos to go ahead, join our initiative, America First Latino. So we just thank you so much for this opportunity. We really need to get the word out to save and protect our families.
Well, Maria Espinoza, we very much appreciate your input on this. And again, it takes away the stereotype. Now, you see the screen capture here. This is the website for the Remembrance Project. You can see it there. They're hard at work in Texas and no doubt want to work nationwide as they continue. We've got more with Maria right after this time out, so we hope you'll be here for more as well.
Instead of the lawlessness and the president's unconstitutional executive amnesty, imagine a president that finally secures the borders. And imagine a legal immigration system that welcomes and celebrates those who come to achieve the American dream.
Now, we were talking earlier about a stereotype. If someone has a Hispanic surname, they must endorse amnesty, right? Well, obviously Ted Cruz does not.
No, and neither does our next guest.
That's right, and the guest that was with us before the break is with us still. That, of course, being Maria Espinoza, director of the Remembrance Project, Skyping in from Texas. And so, as a Texan, Maria, I'm interested. Senator Cruz has announced. Are you supporting him, and what do you think are his prospects with the Hispanic vote?
I believe that his prospects with the Hispanic vote are very good because he's asking just what everyone wants here as Americans, is to uphold current laws and follow our Constitution. And people should not come to America illegally.
Maria, I have to ask you, there was a little controversy earlier this week on America's Forum. We had Dick Morris on and JD, and they kind of differed on their opinion on an ad that ran where Senator Cruz spoke in Spanish. Do you think that was a wise move on his part?
I think he's trying to get the word out, and I encourage that. And that is something that his campaign made a decision of. And I just think he needs to get the word out and shouldn't criticize. However, we are in America and all. And I'm not fluent. I have forgotten my Spanish language, but I think it's fine if he's getting the word out.
Yeah, the whole notion being, and where I was coming at it from an opposite angle than Dick Morris. Dick said it was a wise political strategy. I was saying, well, gee, imagine if Ted started the ad in Spanish and then said, but my dad, once he fled Castro's Cuba, learned the importance of English. And that way you get both the Spanish and stressing the notion that English is the language of commerce and government and a language that helps to unite us. So that was the point I was going to make on that. Speaking of unity or the lack thereof, Maria, another political question. Your former governor, Rick Perry, is also a potential presidential candidate. What do you think is going to happen among Texas conservatives and Republicans? Are people going to wait, or do you think there's going to be an initial burst of support there for Ted Cruz?
Well, I believe, just as Texans, just because they are Texans, we're going to weigh their information, their records, and what they're saying, so they don't get a free vote from Texans. And in fact, we share the information that we know here with our candidates with our state directors, and we have 28 state directors with the Remembrance Project. So we get the word out pretty quickly, and we tell everyone that we did ask Governor Perry when he was governor to secure the border and to meet with us and to please not campaign in 2012 when he was running for president until he took care of business in Texas. And
how did he do?
That request, yes, exactly. And our requests were ignored. We had 2 press conferences, and then, as you saw in the debate, that debate about you don't have a heart really bothered Texans, because as Americans, not only Texans, we are very compassionate, and we simply want our basics here is to uphold current laws and focus on Americans first.
And in fact, because of that compassion, Maria, and our Skype signal is cleared up with you, you were talking about the poster behind you and I believe it also ties in with the name of your group, the Remembrance Project. Would you explain that again now that we can see you a little bit better here?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Javier Vega is a Border Patrol agent who was picnicking and fishing with his family, his children, his wife, and his parents. And he was killed. I believe it was a robbery, and he was shot in the stomach fatally. His father was also shot in the hip. His mother, fortunately, did go to the car and pull out a gun and started firing back at the illegal aliens. And they were illegally here and prior convictions and deported. And Mr. Vega's last words were to tell his dad to keep firing to save his family. And the mother, Mrs. Vega, did, I guess she shot at the vehicle and it was not able to be, was operable, and the law enforcement were able to catch them. But this is a perfect example, JD, of how upholding current laws and following our Constitution of enforcing the border is not followed, and the results. So the Remembrance Project serves to be sure and remember our Americans who've been killed and who could have been saved on the Stolen Lives quilt banners like you see behind me.
And Maria Espinoza, we thank you for your time. Once again, the website, for those watching, here's the screen grab of it. You can find out more at remembranceproject.org.
Remembranceproject.org. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria, and we hope to have you back again soon. There's more to come here on America's Forum.